The Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship returns to the South Island of New Zealand for the first of the one-day sprint events. Rangiora hosts the Lone Star Rally of Canterbury. Based in the forests north of the town, the forest roads offer a new challenge after the rally highways of Otago and Whangarei.
And they can be a bit rougher in spots and a bit slippery, and especially with the weather that we've had through here, it's there's some really tricky sections in the roads.
With Hayden Padden away on WRC duties, this is a golden opportunity for the top 5 drivers to consolidate their championship points.
With Hayden not here this weekend, it's a great opportunity for the chasing pack of Ben, Matt and myself to be getting the maximum points that we can. To me, I still see it as being the third event of 4. It's only 3 weeks until our next round.
Yeah, obviously without Hayden here, there's it opens the points up a bit, but we want to do our own thing. We just want to make sure we finish and get valuable points, and we'll be out there to try and win it. And
for us, it's a good chance to have a clean run and fight for an outright victory. Obviously, we can claim a lot of points back on him, but he's off to a pretty cracking start. So it does bring us and everyone else back into the picture with him not here this weekend.
We're going to watch some fireworks as everyone tries to win a national rally. We're not going to change our plan. We're going to just keep pushing on at a good, comfortable pace and doing our own thing. When everything's been working and I've been confident, the pace has been there in the car. So really, I don't see any reason to change that. We'll just keep chipping away.
I think the battle will ensue between a bunch of guys there. Ben's been driving so good this year. I think it's been awesome to watch him be clear second best in the field. So and he'll be looking to obviously do that again. But I think it's going to be cool this weekend to have a genuine fight for first place.
10 stages over 160 kilometres of challenging roads. Who could make the most of this opportunity? Rally Whangarei started with the blast around the Pahui Island stage at night before heading north of Whangarei on Saturday. Padden was in a class of his own in tricky conditions. The fog claimed Australian driver Richie Dalton, who crashed heavily. And Ben Hunt had some more visibility issues in his Subaru. At the first service, Padden led from Hunt, with Emma Gilmore just 11 seconds back in third. Nathan Quinn had moved the R5 Fiesta to fourth by the afternoon, with Dylan Turner in fifth. Rain on Sunday morning created a challenge with the roads becoming slippery. Padden again showed his class out in front. But it was Nathan Quinn who would lead the chasing pack. Hunt was trying, but in these conditions, the R5 was better, and Hunt would have to settle for third by just 1.5 seconds. Matt Summerfield had suffered a suspension failure on day 1, but fought back on day 2 to 4th for the day and 10th overall. So after 2 rounds, Padden leads from Hunt, with Summerfield and Gilmore tied for third. Saturday night saw the teams gather at Lone Star in Christchurch. Among the cars, a brand new Ford Fiesta AP4 for Tauranga's Phil Campbell.
We ended up with a Ford Fiesta AP4. It's an AP4 Plus at the moment because we haven't got around to getting our 1600 engine ready as quickly as we wanted. So we've just come up with a 2-litre engine to get us going for now. And yeah, it's awesome. The car's going really well with the 2 short tests that we've done. So we're pretty confident it's going to be a good car.
And Nathan Quinn returning for round 3, but for this rally, he'll drive the Shamrock Motorsport Fiesta as Richie Dalton recovers from the crash at Whangarei.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was just touching base with him on the way home from Whangarei, and I mentioned to him, I'd like to go and do it. And then I said, how about I just drive your car? And he turned around, and I won't tell you the exact words he said, but he had a good think about it, and they worked really hard, himself and both teams on either side of the ditch, to get that car together for us. So it's worked out really well, and that's what we've got to remember this weekend. We're here to finish a rally, and it's got a lot of potential, but we just haven't had a good run to get it to the end of an event yet.
With the ceremonial start finished, it was Ben Hunt who would lead the cars away on Sunday morning. Stage 1 in the Ashley Forest, 20 kilometres of forestry road with a mix of conditions. Also light rain falling in the forest on the roads, and that would make the conditions rather heavy.
Probably the biggest challenge is probably the conditions. Obviously with active logging going on and the weather that we've had in Canterbury and stuff like that, then the conditions change from stage to stage. So there's some fantastic stages out there, but there's also some pretty average ones in terms of the conditions of them and the mud and how slippery it could be in places.
Joining us again, expert comments from top driver Glenn Inkster. Inky, looks like a bit of hard work and fun in the mud.
Yeah, it certainly looks slippery. I'm expecting Ben to do a good job this rally. He really needs to get maximum points and try and get some of that gap back to Hayden. But this doesn't look so good. He's not really going fast through this stage.
Right. Whoa.
Red lights are never good lights. Looks like a mechanical problem, which you just don't expect from a Subaru.
Meanwhile, the home event for Rangiora's Matt Summerfield, he finished strongly at day 2 of Whangarei, so looking to build on that one here.
And it's been a big change for this crew this year, moving to the Mitsubishi. They certainly were used to the Subaru, and they just don't look completely confident yet. But still, they're doing a great job not firing the car off and getting stage miles, getting the confidence back. And we can see Ben Hunt's car there. Certainly doesn't look electrical fault, that one.
Meanwhile, Emma Gilmore won this rally back in 2016. Her form has been strong so far this season as well. Can she repeat it?
Well, it's great coming back to a rally that she's already had success. But it certainly seems like a bit of a battle in there.
Summerfield's time 15:30 for Emma, 15:46. For Nathan Quinn, the challenge was getting his car with no testing. Add that to his total lack of experience on these roads.
The lines you can take, like, you can cut here so much. So I may get a puncher from cutting too much, but we saw last event that the Dunlop tyre worked quite well. So I'm not too worried about punches. I'm not too worried about the roughness of it. What I am a little bit concerned about is one pass on slippery roads I've never driven. And so that's probably my biggest concern at this stage.
And so what he meant by one pass there is you only get to go over the roads just the one time to write your notes, no checking pass.
Into late 6 left, 30.
And look how slippery it is.
Josh Marsden, the second of the Canterbury-based drivers in the top 10. Now, his family's heavily involved in organising this event, so a good result here would be reward for all of that hard work.
He's certainly using all the road. They've worked hard on these cars and they're getting them going really well. And doesn't it look a treat with that new Speed Hub rear wing on the back there? It looks way cooler. I reckon that's got to be worth a second a K.
And after that spin, Nathan Quinn got going again, but he's lost a minute. Marsden has caught him at the end of the stage. Coming down towards the finish, and Marsden's time's going to be 14:21.6 to take the lead. Phil Campbell looking forward to the stage. His new car finally ready.
Probably the biggest challenge for me this weekend is the amount of time it's been since I've driven a rally car. It's going to be pretty challenging with how wet it is out there. It's a forestry roads aren't all that forgiving. So there's grip or there's mud and pine needles and slippery stuff. So yeah, we're not going to go out and do anything silly, but I think we've got a car that is going to work well in those conditions, so it's going to be good.
And joining Phil this rally is Mal Peden. He's just had a whole rally with Hayden Paddon, and that must have helped a lot. And I'm sure there's tips, lots of information going Phil's way on the recce. This will make him better.
Very slippy down, gear 5 left plus.
Very slippy seems to be used a lot in this rally.
Campbell second fastest so far, but 41 seconds slower than Marsden. Greg Murphy returns to the championship after his supercar commentary duties.
And I love the rag there, ready for demisting if needed. Listen, Greg, he went really well in the night time in Canterbury last year, so it's going to be cool to see how he does in this event.
In fact, his time is the second quickest behind his teammate, but 30 seconds down. Now, Rana Horan doesn't have much rally experience, but he has loads of experience doing off-road racing, so he's used to these sort of slippy conditions. He actually goes second fastest, 4.3 seconds faster than Murphy. Stage 2, another 20 kilometres through Ashley Forest. This stage features a deep water crossing, which has caused issues in the past. Matt Summerfield now running first on the road with Ben Hunt's demise.
This weekend with the river crossings, some are quite deep and they're going to take extreme care. We'll be crawling through them to look after the car, and then there's a few other ones where you can hit quite fast, so just got to have it noted down which one's which and approach appropriately.
Summerfield sets the time, 14 minutes 36.7. Gilmore hot on his heels, taking it carefully through the water and just 4.6 seconds slower. Despite losing a minute to Marsden, Quinn was still 5th overall after special stage 1. Here on stage 2, he was the fastest so far.
And he's quickly getting a handle on this car. He hadn't actually driven the car until he sat in it for the start of the rally. And there's a bit to get used to. It's got the paddle shift.
And Brow into 5 left don't.
You know, you're so used to changing gears with a gear stick. Even that'll take a bit of getting used to.
5 right plus, maybe.
But disaster on the stage for Josh Marsden, who hit a rock and punctured, losing 2 minutes and dropping to 7th. That opened the door for Phil Campbell, who would move up to 3rd.
30, slow forward, keep right. Slow forward, keep right. 50. Short 6 left, plus, small crest. 5 left, 80, relax.
So nice and calm. Mel just telling him there's going to be a car there. His rally safe has given him warning.
Greg Murphy, meanwhile, just 0.2 slower than Quinn on the stage. He would move into 2nd. While Horan now had a lead of 5.6 seconds over Murphy. Dave Strong in 10th, but the engine of the S2000 had picked up a misfire. Meanwhile, Brian Green was having a better run, now in 8th, with plenty of experience on these sort of stages. Jack Williamson 9th, just 11 seconds behind Green.
Jack's taking a little while to adapt to four-wheel drive and a lot more power than the Suzuki from last year. And of course, throw in the mud, slippery. You know, it's a big battle just to get used to something, let alone in such tricky conditions.
Stick around, coming up, more fun in the mud and a surprise leader on the Lone Star Rally of Canterbury. Welcome back to round 3 of the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship, the Lone Star Rally of Canterbury, based in the country town of Rangiora. The town has received a financial boost as many Cantabrians moved here after the Christchurch earthquake. The town is on the bank of the Ashley River, with the town of Ashley on the northern river bank. The river winds its way through dairy farms before meeting the Pacific Ocean at Waikuku Beach, a popular spot for catching waves on a mild winter morning. And after a service at Rangiora, the teams head north of Ashley to the Okuku Forest, 2 shorter stages. Now, the land is more exposed and open than the morning stages, but still has plenty of forestry roads and lots of character.
I think it's probably your approach is the biggest change you make. Public road stages are a lot wider, the forestry is a bit narrower. Vision's often a lot more, it's a lot more difficult to see around the corners with the trees, but the flow is very nice in the forestry stages. I quite enjoy that.
Marsden would actually make up 4 places on this stage, putting up a real good fight. Horan 11.5 seconds slower through the stage than Marsden, but holding on to the lead, in fact stretching it out to 14.1 seconds over Greg Murphy. Nathan Quinn struggling with the car in these conditions, but he did get ahead of Phil Campbell on this stage.
Just struggling a little bit there for turn-in, which normally is better because this is an active car, just like an Evo 9 is. And that just means there's a little computer that's controlling the diff lock front to rear. It does normally make them better than that.
Phil Campbell, in fact, struck a few problems on this stage with the car starting to overheat.
6 right, tightens long 4 plus.
We're getting hot.
I can smell something. Tightens 4 plus this one, 5 left plus.
And all the mud can actually block up the cooling radiators. It can be very, very difficult on cars.
Long 4 right, don't. 60. Long 4 left plus. Oh, you got it.
Yeah.
Long 4 left plus this one, 30.
And that's like big rocks that can be hidden in the ditches and forestry tracks.
Matt Summerfield, second fastest on the stage, starting to push hard.
When you're coming up to a Ford, you're trying your best to judge the speed. Sometimes you've come off a big straight and you're not aware you're going that fast, and then sometimes you've just come out of a really slow corner. So you just kind of got to judge it when you get there, but a lot of the time you do come into the water and you think, oh, that's a bit quick.
And Emma Gilmore also pushing hard, finally found some pace. Fourth fastest on the stage, just 7 seconds down on Summerfield.
Normally on gravel roads, when they're this wet, they cut up. This road is so hard, it looks like Emma is being second car on the road, just getting rid of some of that top slush, which is making an advantage for the cars behind.
40.
Stage 4, a short 10-kilometre sprint before returning to Rangiora for service. It's been snowing up here during the week, but the rain has luckily eased off. And another great run through the stage by Greg Murphy. Let's see him take the rally lead.
Of course, yeah, we all know Greg come from a very, very successful circuit racing background. He likes the car to really turn in well, doesn't throw it around as much as others, and it's obviously suiting this type of stage. He's going very well this rally.
Rana Horan second now, but the gap to Murphy just 2 seconds.
How good's this? We've got one ex-circuit racing guy and one ex-off-roading guy, and they're battling for the lead in the rally. Come on, rally guys, get up there.
And now here's the Aussie, Nathan Quinn, also more comfortable in his Fiesta.
Of course, Miles is going to make a difference here.
Top into long 5 left opens. 50. 6 right to top, tightens 5, hold.
Quinn finishing the morning in third. Meanwhile, Matt Summerfield, one of the locals, would finish the morning back in 4th place.
We mentioned how it was a disadvantage for Emma. Well, of course, Matt's now opening the road, so getting rid of that slush, it's tough on him and making an advantage for everyone behind.
But unfortunately, the engine in Phil Campbell's Fiesta continued to overheat. He would drive out and retire in service.
And in this case, they're running it as a 2-litre engine. They've already got the 1600cc one coming together, so hopefully next rally, 1600cc and full AP4 spec.
Okay. 5 left plus this one to 5 right plus.
Pretty hot on everything.
Okay. Just anti-lag off and cruise out if you want.
And still a great start in a brand new car, speed-wise.
50.
And just look at the information from the dash. Obviously, when you're at full speed, you don't really care about that too much, but lots of information when they need it.
And the man of the move with Josh Marsden now up to 6th, made up over a minute on the time lost on stage 2 by winning both stages 3 and 4. Meanwhile, Emma Gilmore was 7th, just not able to find any really form of grip through the Ashley, Forest and also the Okuku stages. So Greg Murphy leads the rally for the first time from Horan and Quinn. But his teammate Marsden has won 3 of the 4 stages. And our special guest in the service park today is the Aussie co-driver, Dale Moscat.
Better circumstances than the last time I saw you, thankfully. How's your morning gone?
Been a mixed morning. We had a good run through 1. We knew it was going to be slippery, so I pushed on pretty hard. 2, unfortunately, had a wee spin at an intersection, and there was a rock on the inside of the corner, and that bent the steering, and we just toddled out after that. fixed it in service, and then had a pretty good run through the last two. So we're just now trying to claw back some time.
Yep. Look, I was spectating a couple of Ks into that first stage, and you were 5 seconds up already. So you obviously started with the big push straight from the word go.
Yeah. With everything going on, I just decided, we'll just push on this rally. I know I know parts of it. It's my home rally. It's just time.
So Rana, we were at the midday service here, 4 stages down, and conditions are obviously very tricky out there. You saw from the recce, and it looks like it's very changeable up and down with grip levels. Is that the main concern?
Yeah, you got to look out for the mud spots. Some parts are just all mud, some parts are a combination. Some have got heaps of grip, so you can get away when you got grip, but the mud's where you got to be careful.
We really struggled in 1 and 2 for a bit of lack of grip. It looks like we're sort of cleaning a bit of pine needles off or something. I don't have much explanation for the time loss, just that it was really slippery. But in the second loop, yeah, much better. Different area in the forest and much more grip.
You're confident with the setup you've got for the rest of the rally?
Yeah, I think we'll keep tweaking what we've done. But yeah, to me, it's still a long way to go. It's a difficult event. You still got to sort of, in that last pair of stages, there was a lot of rocks around, and that's only us on our first pass. So I think, the second pass now, I think, the conditions will be a lot different. So it's going to be a challenge.
And in the Scream Machines, Regan Ross headed the 2-wheel drive field in his historic Class Escort, finding grip by being cautious.
Are you confident on the repeat loops or even the newer stages you're going to do some of this afternoon?
Confident in, that we should be able to find a good rhythm and push on, but just that unknown on the ruttiness and you can get caught very easy if you bang into some ruts and pop out, and you're sort of in the broom bushes pretty quickly. So we're a bit shy on that, but yeah, we'll just see what we find, I guess, and deal with it.
John Silcock second in the class, but also struggling for grip. Wayne Pittham's Escort is highly modified and competes in the open 2-wheel drive class. It may look old school on the outside, but this car has modern suspension and a sequential gearbox.
80. Long 4 right minus. Whoa.
Unfortunately, it doesn't have 4-wheel drive and he was stuck and sadly out of the event.
Oh, we were going along quite nicely, really. Happy with the pace. Picked a good tyre for the conditions, but we just coming through a 5 left here, and the front just hooked a bit of soft stuff and just sucked us in, and we just bellied. There's no damage to the car. It's just we couldn't get out.
Pittham's main competition was also out. Tony Gosling retiring at service with a slipping clutch. Two-wheel drive champion Dylan THOMSON was really struggling in these conditions in his Fiesta.
So Dylan, I've just been introduced to you as the reigning two-wheel drive champion. So this weather's your fault, is it?
Yeah, I like raining as a champion, but I don't like raining as the weather. Bloomin', it's unbelievable out there. The conditions on some of the bits, they're not really gravel, they're just wet mud. And it's basically a rally of survival at the moment.
Mike Sheehan second in the newer Fiesta, the car which Dave Holder had run in Whangarei. And with the road starting to get very muddy, the two-wheel drive cars were at a disadvantage. Dave Taylor in the Civic and Amy Keeley in the Suzuki, both doing well enough just to get through the morning and back to service unscathed. Still to come, we check out the Gull Rally Challenge and later 2 night stages.
I'm Mike from Emma Gilmore's rally team. The most valuable thing in our service truck would be our tool rolls, except on a bad day when it would be the chili bin full of beer.
Hi guys, my name's Aidan from Team Rally Art. The most valuable thing we have in our service truck is the service crew. A great bunch of boys who just really get stuff done and tuck on into it.
G'day, my name's James. I'm from Christchurch and with the Mobros rally team. The most valuable part of the entire operation probably is the old sledgehammer, Murphy's Law. If you have it, you don't need it, and if you don't need it, if you don't have it, then you do need it.
This thing is wallet.
Probably tooling.
Tools are probably everything. If you don't have tools, you can't do anything. Battery rattle guns make life a lot easier. So battery rattle gun's probably the best thing out.
It's me. You've got it. I am the best thing in that truck, and I always will be.
Stage 5, a combination of a new start and a second half of Stage 1. Rana Horan and Greg Murphy swapping positions on the stage. Horan would take a 6.2 second lead as Murphy struggled to stay on the road.
He's just struggled for a little bit of turn in there.
20, crest into 4 right that opens, 30, 5 right minus.
He's using lots of road
Got another one.
and signs. They normally wait till after the event to get the signs down.
Meanwhile, Quinn made changes in service and found some extra speed, moving up to third overall, 18 seconds back from Murphy. It was tough too for Matt Summerfield running first on the road, but he posted 4th fastest time and moved up to 4th.
So he's still out there making tracks for everybody else to follow, which this rally is not an advantage at all. But it looks great in the new colours.
Another guy looking great, Josh Marsden, really was the man on the move again, fastest through the stage. Now back into the top 5, just 10 seconds behind Summerfield. What a comeback.
Oh, nice work. Long 6 left.
And he's looked fast every shot we've seen of him.
Titans 5. Okay, this is over crest. 5 left. Caution slippery. 5 right plus. 20.
They're just getting the rhythm back after that moment. Just takes a little while to find your place in the notes.
Emma Gilmore also made changes in service, but she was finding it hard to stay with the pace of the leaders.
And that's certainly a surprise based on form this year and form at this rally. I guess we're expecting a little bit more, just something not working or not clicking between Emma and the car.
6 left, 30. Right. Fast 5 left through gate.
Dave Strong had retired, so the sponsor, Brian Green, now up to 7th and looking good, Inky.
It certainly does. This car is very, very cool. Nice piece of kit. And, you know, you have to give everything to Brian Green. His commitment to the sport and just the sheer enthusiasm that they both have for rallying. It's just really cool to see in what would normally be some conditions where you might just decide to stay in bed.
Stage 6, a repeat of Stage 2, 20 kilometres. Now, despite the repeat stage, the road was actually holding up quite well. Rana Horan able to consolidate his lead as Greg Murphy slipped back.
Listen, he really has been the find of the year. He's got a handle on this very quickly and doing really well in slippery conditions.
Also doing well, the flying Aussie Nathan Quinn, who moved up to 2nd place here, trailing Horan by 22.7 seconds.
He's obviously starting to get used to the car and probably liking the fact that the trees are just a little bit further back in New Zealand than they are in Australia.
Josh Marsden also continued to push.
It's really like I judge my speed just through my pace notes on Recce and just put a variety of notes in there depending on how deep I think the forward is. And then it just comes down to gut, really. You can't put a number on it, you just have to think you're doing the right thing on the day.
Oh, that was a bone cruncher.
20. Long 5 right.
He won the stage though and moved up to 3rd place. He'd turned a 2-minute deficit on Stage 2 to a podium position, 39 seconds behind the leader. Another to improve, Matt Summerfield. He was now moving past Murphy to 4th.
And now we're on repeated stages. It should be more even, so it'll be good to see whether the times get better for Matt.
While Josh Marsden was absolutely flying, Greg Murphy was a minute slower than his teammate.
6 left, tightens to 5 left, slippery.
I love that comment with Greg Murphy. They're all slippery. It doesn't look like it's working for him quite as well as it was in the morning. Maybe that's road conditions with the whole field going through and it getting a bit more cut up, more ruts. You know, obviously a bit different to Mount Panorama.
In fact, it seemed like all the drivers were having grip issues on this stage, though. Emma Gilmore, the next to slide wide.
And it looks like the exact same corner. Often that can happen because the marks just take you straight out into the bushes.
And Jack Williamson heading for the gorse. So after 6 stages, less than a minute separating the top 5, with Regan Ross still the top two-wheel drive competitor. Anyone's rally in the Lone Star Rally of Canterbury.
It's very muddy, extremely muddy. Everyone's going off everywhere. You sort of just get in the train tracks and ride with it or ride outside it, one of the two. No, I think the good thing about it is if I don't put any pressure on myself because I'm new to it, it shouldn't cause me an issue, hopefully.
Conditions are really, really treacherous out there, but I mean, the same for everyone, so we'll just keep pushing forwards. There's places where you think you're braking too early and you'll come whistling through junctions, and there are other places where you're the opposite is happening. So it's just about trying to get the best rhythm you can and just push on as much as you're comfortable.
Oh, I can probably win it, but I can also probably lose it a lot easier than win it. But yeah, we're driving well within our means, and we're just learning heaps, and we keep softening it all day and just picking up some basic stuff. Been very fortunate to drive the cars I've driven and to know the differences and what to look for. I think I'll just cruise around and settle where we are and hope that maybe other guys' settled pace is slower than mine.
We're just trying to get the car better and set better stage times every time we go out. So we're moving towards where we need to be, but we just run out of Ks to get right to the front.
Yeah, not really enjoying it out there. It's just, just can't find any grip and keep thinking that it's the road, but, the times that others are doing, obviously there is grip there to be had. So, just chasing the setup a bit, really. I not 100% sure.
For Greg Murphy, leading the morning stages, a humbling experience.
I honestly was not taking any notice of that because it's too much was going to change, and that's just circumstance. You end up there through circumstance, and as it happens, a couple of stages later, we're back down the order. So I wasn't getting too excited and carried away about leading a rally 4 stages in. So the right stars have aligned again, I think.
The Gold Rally Challenge lived up to its name on stage 1 with Gareth Thomas off the road. Jeff Argyle was showing his experience in the forests, leading the challenge through all the morning stages. Marcus Van Cleet led the two-wheel drives after Dean Bewis broke an axle in his V-dub on stage 1. Van Cleet was second in the challenge behind Argyle. But on stage 6, the Mazda broke its gearbox. Leaving the Lanza Turbo of Graham Coe to come home as the sole two-wheel drive finisher in the challenge. In the Group A challenge, it was a similar story. The Mo Bros, Matt and Carl Adams, were confident at the rally start.
G'day, welcome to Rally Canterbury. Gonna be a good one, eh, Murph? Mate, look at this. His pace hasn't really been the best. But now it will be. We've chucked this in how it will be, yeah.
Did you just put that?
Far out.
Don't touch it.
I'm going to make it worse. I will make it worse.
Truly cosmetic, isn't it? Not functional at all.
Here's the deposit.
But a misfire made life difficult for the Mo Bros on the stages. However, their competition was also finding the stages a challenge. David G crashed on stage 5. And then Ben Brown retired on the same stage with broken steering. That left the Adams to take home the class win and still the gold fuel prize at the same time.
They let the gold challenge fuel! Yeah!
What are you talking about, mate?
Mate, it's yours. You won it.
Why
Best
not?
looking co-driver around.
We won that fair and square too, mate.
Oh, we did. Pity our car doesn't run gold away. Maybe we can sell it to someone.
My wife's car does.
Jeff Argyle continued to lead the overall challenge through the afternoon stages, finally finishing 5th overall to take out the GRC The Gold Rally Challenge.
Well, you know more than any that getting to the finish is the main part of it in a rally like this.
Yeah, that's what we had to decide halfway through the day, just try and see if we could win the class and maybe the next rally podium.
Clint Cunningham survived to take 2nd. Richard Bateman lucky to finish 3rd after hitting a tree in the night stage. And all the way from New Caledonia, Eugene Crenay, 4th. Leon Stiles 5th, with just 9 cars finishing the Gold Rally Challenge at Canterbury. Stick around, coming up, the roads take their toll, and who in the top 4 can take a maiden NZRC win? Welcome back to the Lone Star Rally of Canterbury. Regan Ross had been flying through the stages in the afternoon, moving up to 8th in NZRC when he crashed heavily on the final stage.
Regan, disappointing end.
Yeah, no, we're never like to be standing in the middle of the forest in the dark and the rain, but yeah, unfortunately we've come unstuck a wee bit and some tree stumps have halted our progress.
That promoted John Silcock in the 2-wheel drive and historic class lead. It also put Silcock into the historic class lead by 14 points. Staying out of trouble but holding on to the 2-wheel drive championship lead, Dylan Thompson.
And we're used to seeing giant killing performances and stage times with this team in this car, but these roads, these conditions just don't allow it at all. So getting to the end, car in one piece, that was the main job.
Mike Sheehan to close the gap through the afternoon.
And expect to see him get better and better as the year goes on. It's a great little car he's got there.
Also working hard behind the wheel, Dave Taylor. Followed by the teenager, Amy Keeley.
And a very famous rally family, this one. But this Amy's first season in the NZRC, first time at night, first time in the forestry. She's doing a great job.
Stage 7, a repeat of Stage 3. The rain has stopped. Unfortunately for Emma Gilmore, this stage saw the start of major issues with her car.
One-day events are really difficult if it's, you know, if you have a flat tyre or something like that, you know, in many ways your event can be over. But in saying that, you know, the Christchurch rally is always a rally, quite high rally of attrition. So getting to the finish, you know, it's still a case of seeing that bigger picture, you know, getting to the finish, getting the points.
It's got no front-wheel drive. What's that? It's got no front-wheel drive.
Yeah, that's not what you want in these conditions, just rear-wheel drive only and well north of 300 horsepower. Be a handful.
But for Nathan Quinn, Stage 7 was hammer time and finally got the car sorted and his confidence was soaring high.
Peak here, 70 drops 36 left at markers.
Stage win here. Josh Marsden, second fastest on the stage.
Well, a chance to win a rally doesn't come along that often. He'll be pushing as much as he can because I think he can sense a rally victory coming here. Oh, he's just a bit wide.
Car seems to be struggling for grip here, Inky.
Look at that left front puncher. That's not going to help.
Oh, I tell you what, though, if you're going to get a puncture, You're better off getting it now right at the end of the stage than at the start. How lucky is that?
That's a lucky day.
But it was all over for Emma Gilmore. A broken front diff meaning she would cruise through with rear-wheel drive only. Stage 8, a repeat of Stage 4, just 10.3 kilometres. That's the highest point in the stages, and the mist was starting to roll in as the light started to fade, so, well, more challenging conditions. Matt Summerfield running first on the road. He picked up a slow puncture early on, but was able to keep on going through a short stage, losing around about 20 seconds. Emma Gilmore crawling through the stage, trying to get to the service, but she moves aside for Nathan Quinn, who probably takes out NZRC photographer Jeff BRITA's camera on the corner. That was a hell of a moment. Quinn would take the stage win. Josh Marsden having to settle for second on the stage. Now this stage must suit Greg Murphy. He was fourth fastest and moved past Matt Summerfield to be fourth overall.
Still very slippery there. He's just used a handbrake to get around that corner. Lost a little bit of time out wide. Rag's still hanging in there though.
With the light starting to fade, Rana Horan third fastest on the stage, but still with a 12.2 second lead over Quinn. Brian Green now seventh in the NZRC as the light level dropped to where some drivers may have wanted spotlights. Green was battling with Jack Williamson.
Very cool anti-lag on that car. In rallying, it doesn't matter whether it's first or second or seventh or eighth. It's about that battle and competing against yourself, trying to get the best out of yourself and someone else. Different cars, different drivers, same time.
Williamson on a steep learning curve, having graduated to his Subaru R4 in the 2018 season. Time now for the teams to fit their Hella night driving lights for the final two stages.
First time in the dark in the Mirage. We've gone for a light setup that I haven't rallied on before. We'd run the Impreza ones for a few years, so we knew what we had. So it's going to be a bit of guesswork. We have set up the lights the best we can, but until you're out competing and going at speed through the forest, it's hard to tell if you've got it quite right or not.
Stage 9 starts on Stage 5, but it's all fresh roads for the second half of the stage. Rana Horan continued to lead. In fact, stretched it out to 20 seconds over Quinn. Josh Marsden made it 6 wins from 9 stages so far and put himself up to second place, keeping up the confidence at night.
I wouldn't say your attitude has to change, it's probably just a level of confidence and commitment towards the notes. Obviously with the darkness, it takes part of that sense of sight away from you, and you do really rely on the co-driver and your flow in the car and that relationship, which is good, something I enjoy.
My view with night driving is there's a lot less to hit at night. People ask me why. I said because you can't see as much.
Up, medium, 5 right opens or mud.
And that spin the moment that dropped Quinn to third, 3.5 seconds behind Marsden. Greg Murphy consolidated fourth and enjoying the experience.
It's a special part of rallying. It's something we don't see a lot of anymore. And I remember being out on rally stages, you know, many years ago in the night, and just, you know, mesmerised by the cars, especially when you couldn't see them for a bit, and then you saw lights, and then you just, you know, they turned up.
Right. 35 right minus look.
Summerfield lucky to hold on to fifth here. A turbo pipe split, robbing him of power through the latter part of the stage.
Into long, 2 right minus. Huh? Oh. Wrong with the car? Yeah. Right. Okay, just do what you can.
Stage 10 started on fresh roads before joining the last part of stage 2 and 6, including that Ford. Summerfield really struggling now with no turbo boost, losing 2.5 minutes through the stage. Inevitable, he was passed on the stage by Quinn. Quinn was third to Marston by 3.5 seconds going into the stage, so second place still a possibility.
6 right entry, medium 5 left through clearing. Don't cut.
And the stage time, 12 minutes, 38.2.
Nathan, welcome to the finish of the Rally of Canterbury. Quite a dramatic day all around.
Yeah, that stuff was pretty epic. Extremely slippery. I think I buggered it all up with a spin in the first night stage just to add to my spin this morning, so if I hadn't have spun around so much, I would have been right. Perhaps it comes from all my dance moves at all the after parties, all the spinning around.
Josh Marsden would also catch and pass Summerfield. The question was, could he stay ahead of Quinn? He would need a stage time of 12 minutes, 41.8 to be safe. Stage time, 12 minutes, 31.8.
Josh, it's been a tough old day, but congratulations here at the finish.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been chaos, even in those last 2 stages at night. It's something different driving at night in the mud. So, no, it's good. It's good. It's been an up and down day. You know, like we had led the rally for the first time, had some stage wins, had some not so good driving efforts, and pretty happy all in all.
You had a puncture in stage 2. That pretty much put you on the back foot.
It did. Yeah, we spun and had a puncture in Bennett Arm in 2, and then also in 7 I hit a rock and had a puncture, and then in 8 I also bent a steering arm too, so it's been quite the day.
Good on you, Josh, well done.
Thank you.
Greg Murphy in 4th, but what a day for the Bathurst champion to get through unscathed in these conditions.
This has been a really good rally for Greg. This time last year in the nighttime stages, it was the first time he showed glimpses that he can match it with the top drivers in this country. And after a performance like this, it's going to be really interesting to see how he pushes on for the rest of the season and moving into next year.
Greg, well done. You've got to the end of Canterbury Rally. It's been a good old day.
Yeah, thank goodness for that. Those 2 were pretty hard work. Just so hard to read the road, and anyway, we're finished. That's first rally for the year, so that's something to actually be pretty happy about. Thanks to old Marky here too for doing so much work in the last month or so, getting this car ready for this rally, and we've managed to get to the finish.
But this could be a really cruel sport. Just when it seemed that Rana Horan would score his first victory, a couple of spins in that stage dropped him from 1st to 3rd.
We were off and on all over the place, so I thought I had a flat tyre. That's why I was just crawling home. But anyway, it is what it is. I'll find out what it is soon enough, I guess.
You've had a pretty remarkable day, though, to be leading the rally from the outset and have everyone chasing you.
Yeah, I've just been lucky, I reckon. It's kept it on the track most of the time.
So confirming the results, Josh Marsden wins from Nathan Quinn and Rana Horan. A great day for the Holden team with Murphy in 4th.
Josh, the winner of the Canterbury Rally.
Yeah, I can't really believe it, to be honest. We had such an up and down day, and just going into the night, we thought we'll just keep pushing and see where we get to, and had 2 really good runs in the night. Tricky conditions, but yeah, absolutely stoked.
I think we should also remember that as a team, you've had a fantastic day. I mean, Greg led the rally early on, then you took over. I mean, you've been there and pushing so hard for so long.
Absolutely, and I've got to thank the team a lot. You know, the guys have just done such a great job, you know, preparing such an awesome car. Dougie did a great job on the notes, so truly very lucky.
So in the overall points now, Hayden Patton still leads, but Josh Marston has put himself back into contention in third. Next up, we head south to Timaru for the Stadium Finance Rally of South Canterbury, round 4 of the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship.